it being 4:16, we'll convene the meeting of the Westborough Select Board on Thursday, August 1st. For all those that would like to join us, we will do the Pledge of the Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Terrific. I will open it up for open forum. I see a resident here. Sure, come on. Yeah, welcome, Ted.
So Ted Gilbert, 26 Charles Street. This is a recent article from the Center for Immigration Studies by Jessica Vaughn, Massachusetts, a case study in mass immigration and the welfare state. These are some excerpts. This is July 25, 2024. While many lawmakers, including the state's governor, Maura Healey, have long embraced sanctuary policies that guarantee access to housing, welfare programs, health coverage, and other benefits regardless of immigration status, some are now raising concerns about the cost to taxpayers. Taxpayers in Massachusetts have spent more than $1 billion to date on an emergency shelter system that has been overwhelmed. They plan to spend $1.8 billion in the next 2 years. Federal funding may bail out the Bay State in the short term, but the unprecedented influx of migrants engineered by the Biden administration will prove to be a significant burden for Massachusetts taxpayers over the long run. Long-term costs include schooling, social services, medical care, public safety, and more. These costs will accrue even if migrants are able to find jobs, whether with a work permit or through illicit employment. Our research shows that immigrants generally have high labor force participation rates, but because of most of the new arrivals lack education and skills necessary, they continue to access the state's generous social safety net. Numerous studies and government reports have shown that illegal immigration is a burden on taxpayers. On average, illegal immigrants pay less in taxes than they consume in welfare benefits and other social services. This is primarily because of that low level of education. Let's see. State and local governments incur costs for providing services to unauthorized immigrants. The amount of state and local government spend on services represents a small percentage of the total amount spent by those governments to provide such services to residents. Let's see. Tax revenues that unauthorized immigrations generate do not offset. Some illegal immigrants do pay taxes. The center estimates that in 2019, for example, illegal immigrants paid about $6 billion in federal income tax, $16.2 billion in Social Security taxes, and $3.8 billion in Medicare taxes. However, these contributions are more than offset by the cost of services they receive. Using the methodology and fiscal impact calculations of a landmark study by the National Academy of Sciences, there's a lifetime net fiscal cost to American taxpayers of $68,000 for each illegal alien. Thank you.
Can you leave us with a copy of that, just so we could all get a copy?
Sure.
That'd be great.
Yep.
Thanks.
Actually, I'll email it to you.
Oh,
Is that
okay. Yeah, that's fine.
This is the one that I have notes on.
That's fine. Yeah,
But
you
it's
just
on cis.org.
okay.
Okay, yeah.
Just email
I guess
it.
I should do that anyway, right?
Yeah.
Just
Well, it's.
give you
I think.
a copy.
Yeah. it'd
Just
great.
be part of the
Happy to do
record.
it.
Yeah, part of the
that'd be
record.
great.
That'd be good. Thanks,
Okay,
Ted.
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have something for open forum
Okay,
too.
yeah, please go ahead.
Just wanted, I mentioned at the last meeting, I know you're aware that there's a vacancy on the planning board. So we're looking for an opportunity to have a joint meeting with the planning board to fill that vacancy, and then also likely could hear from our town planner regarding articles, zoning articles for the October town meeting. And the planning board has offered September 3rd, if that works for all of you. So you can let me know, but I just wanted to put it out there.
Just one quick other open forum,
Sure.
just to help make sure people are aware that due to high bacteria levels, Lake Chauncey is closed by the Board of Health until further notice. There's information on the website. Animals and people should not go in the water.
Do we know if fishing has any sort of issue? I saw people out there fishing this morning.
They shouldn't be on the water.
Yeah.
Contact with the skin can cause problems.
Right. So I
Okay.
would say
Yeah, and
fishing.
I wouldn't-
Fishing
probably
would be a
not.
good
pretty-
idea either then.
Yeah, it's a
Gotcha.
pretty broad notice that I
didn't
saw on
see
the
it
town's
yet, so-
website. Yep.
Okay.
Is that, Chrissy, do you know offhand if that was on the media board downtown?
I put it on when they announced
You did? Awesome. Thanks, Hill. Thank you.
So just back on the 7th, that evening? Will be an evening meeting?
Yep.
Okay.
Great.
All right. All right, moving on to item 2, Waste Management Transfer Station Contract with Waste Connections E.L. Harvey at 68 Hopkinton Road. Up to you,
Great.
Christie.
Oh, yep. So this actually is a request for a second extension. We have been working, so myself, Shelby as your representative with the Board of Health and Public Health Director to negotiate the next contract with Harvey's. I think the last time that you had executed an extension, we were still waiting for their legal team to provide us with responses. They have since done that. We have a response for them as well. So we are continuing to meet. Things are still moving forward. And so I don't think that we need a long extension, but this request is that because our first extension will end on Monday, the request is that we execute a second extension that would go till September 11th. That's Wednesday. That date was chosen because you're meeting on the 10th. So
I would say it also, if I may, it also does allow the Board of Health to meet as well to contemplate the new contract and any provisions they would need to make as it relates, as we remember, if you guys recall, we're going to kind of cleave the contract as it relates to their permit to operate. And so the Board of Health will need to take action subsequent to or in conjunction with our signing of this contract.
Okay.
So it was just to give a buffer time, albeit we do have a meeting in August. Just, I think, out of an abundance of caution, that date was suggested, so we don't have to come back again and do another extension, so.
Makes sense.
Any question?
I actually would prefer that we only extend it till August 21st, the day after our August meeting. And that, my understanding is that Waste Connections and Harvey hasn't really been very communicative or cooperative in this whole process. They've made unilateral decisions and implemented them without communicating with us in advance, or things that we were still expecting to be part of the contract negotiations, including the hours. Existing commitments and discussions about the services that would be included in the contract seem to have no validity as far as what they're actually willing to do other than physically have a space for us. And I think it's important that they know we're watching this closely and we expect them to act. We don't have much leverage in a lot of negotiations and contract works. At time it feels as a government entity. Here, because the current contract includes their permit to operate, we have a little bit of leverage. I think they need to feel the same urgency to wrap this up as we do.
I should add that some of the work that still needs to be done is some new calculations, because when we were originally provided quotes, it included recycling for free, as it has been, and we've now been told that we'll be charged for that. So we're working through that to make sure it's within the budget.
So in the negotiation, we started this expecting recycling to be free, and now they're backing away from that. It seems like that's not really good faith, and I'm using that term deliberately. So I would much rather see where we are when we meet on August 20th and decide whether or not to issue an additional extension to the 11th. As far as the Board of Health goes, I know it might be inconvenient for them. We've scheduled an off-cycle meeting for this. This is actually not the first one on this topic, actually. They could schedule an off-cycle meeting if need be to review things before we meet on the 20th and provide their input. And I think it's incumbent that with this, that the towns start to look at contingency plans, should we not be able to come to an agreement. And I know it's complicated and it's a mess, but.
Any comments, questions?
I'm comfortable with the September 11th date.
Okay.
I mean, I get what Alan's saying, and I think we do need to express urgency. I am okay with the September 11th date. you know, August is just, it's a tough month, right?
We-
You know,
We've been negotiating with them for the better part of a year.
I just
And-
feel like I feel like if we say the 21st, then, you know, we can certainly discuss this at the meeting of the 20th, but we're just going to be providing a third extension. Right?
It-
I mean,
Unless they come to the table and finish the negotiations and we have a contract ready for signature.
If
Which
that's
was
the case,
supposed to happen before their permit originally expired at the end of the fiscal year. And which was supposed to be happening, by,
August 5th.
by August 3rd.
Yeah.
And so this is the second deadline where I don't have any sense that we're actually closer to where we need to be, or significantly closer where we're like, we can do it. So, yeah, they might have to put in a little time and effort into this. And I think it's important for the public to know that we're not being untransparent in what's happening, right? The hours change was a unilateral decision made by them, which I see as bad faith. Because we're in contract negotiations and those terms hadn't been settled. The fact that they're now saying we have to pay for recycling when we thought we had already agreed that it would continue to be free is bad faith. They're backing away from things that we thought were a commitment. And so, I do expect we'll probably end up having to, have an additional extension. But they need to know there's an urgency and a seriousness, and that we're starting to plan for an alternate solution. And that this isn't a guarantee for them.
So when you propose the change, moving that deadline up, initially I was like, I think we're going to get to September 11th anyway, probably because I feel I feel like this is an unending process with them, so if I feel a little bit tired and frustrated, and I know our town manager does as well, I don't want to speak for her, that's sort of it's probably going to be the 11th anyway, and let's just go with it, right? So we don't have to kind of put this on the agenda. But Alan, I think you make a number of good points, which I won't reiterate, but I agree with all of them. And I don't think it does any harm, since we are already meeting in August, to change that date. And we can always decide to extend it at that point. But we absolutely can put that on, make that change, and maybe it will light a fire. But the changes they've come back with during this process have been, I've said it many times, pretty frustrating and not aligned with sort of the partnership that I think that the Harvey family has long stood for in this town, with the town. So I would be supportive of a change to whatever that date would be, which I didn't write down.
I said September 21st? Excuse me,
August 21st.
August 21st. Christy, can you just remind me, if their license doesn't renew, does this end all trash operations, or just the trash operations for the town of Westborough?
Their permit allows them to operate their entire
Period.
operation.
Their entire operation. Okay. So my comments, I certainly echo the concerns in the negotiation process. I've heard of many of the issues of them not coming to the table in a timely, expedient way, changing things that were previously discussed in good faith. So I'm very disappointed in how this is working out too. I thought that this would have been well behind us at this point. I see no harm. I think I would tend to go with Alan on this. I think there's no harm to just changing this to August 21st, and when the time comes at that point, we can make a decision. Hopefully, we've got a finalized contract, and if not, we can make the decision as to whether or not we want to extend at that point. So, is there a motion?
Guys, it's just a question. I mean, I'm assuming the contract that we have has been, in essence, negotiated with Harvey, so is this a change that you have to go back to them with, that they could refuse to?
No, they haven't. I provided this to them, but they haven't responded.
They've had it for a while.
this extension?
Well, the extension they've had since, well, we asked for the extension on Monday or Tuesday because they obviously know that we haven't come to an agreement. And I sent the extension, I don't know what day, but I haven't heard back from any of my emails this week.
I mean, I agree with everything that was said. I mean, I think it's frustrating, but I think it go with Sean that it's going to come to my concern is if we go to the 21st, you know, it's do we go to the 11th, or we're going to be asked to go out a couple more weeks after that, or are we just going to keep doing 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Guess
2
we'll deal
weeks
with
and
that
2
when we get
weeks.
there.
Yeah.
Um,
I would not be inclined in at that point. I mean, I think Alan also makes a, a good point about the town looking at contingency planning.
But again, I think I absolutely agree with that. I mean, it's going to be tough to do
Oh,
in the short term, and it's definitely not going to happen in 2 weeks.
Totally, yeah.
So I don't know if it can happen in 4 weeks before September
Yeah.
11th or not, but that's more time. It's just, so whatever way, I'm fine. I'm not going to fight over it. I think the message, whichever way we go, whether it's August 21st or September 11th, the message that goes back to them should be clear as to what was said here, that, you know, even if it goes to September 11th, our expectation is sooner. And this is really our kind of, we're at the end of the rope here, and this has to get done.
And just to be clear, you know, the 21st of this month is 3 weeks out. The 11th is 6 weeks out. So it's more than a month. And I think that's, unless Christy, you tell me otherwise, if there's any concerns from the town side as far as having 3 weeks, you know, I think we've done everything we can to be communicative, provide them information, negotiate with them. It's just been a very slow process with them, it sounds like. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where we'll be at on August 20th or 21st. I don't think that the town will operate any differently, whether you choose the 21st or the 11th.
Okay.
And then we'll just see where we are on the 20th. So.
are they aware that their license is on the line? I mean, I'm just,
Yes.
But it's been made very clear. They were initially not aware that that was part of their own contract.
okay.
But it has been made crystal clear multiple times in different conversations.
Okay. Any motion?
So I would move to execute the extension of contract for solid waste disposal number 2 with E.L. Harvey and Sons Incorporated as amended to allow the town manager to sign on behalf of the board and the town, with that amendment being that Article 1 term, paragraph 1, the amendment strikes the words August 5th, 2024 and replaces with the words August 21st, 2024.
Second.
Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Okay, thank you.
Just also related to the pay-as-you-throw, I just want to say publicly that we had an incident in town hall today where someone was so frustrated and upset with pay-as-you-throw that they came into an office and they were yelling, and to the point where one of our employees was considering use of their panic button. And so I know that has come up previously, and I know that the board is very supportive of this and of staff, but I just am asking the community to be respectful of our staff.
Thank you for sharing that, Christy. I think it is absolutely important that we be respectful in the process, and if anybody in the community has some concerns, they're always welcome to come to open forum to communicate those directly to the board at any meeting. So I just think it's so important that we treat our staff with respect. These people are coming in here to do their job every day. So please come talk to us if you have any concerns.
Patrick, just one comment. So, you know, I would say I still prefer the September date. I think we're going to end up there, but I voted in favor because I think it's important that the 5 of us show a united front on this. And so I support the decisions that all of us make in this process, so thank you.
Can I just,
Sure.
Christy, since you mentioned the very unfortunate incident, I'm very sorry for on behalf of the board, for that employee that experienced that. I wouldn't expect it to happen again. Deeply disappointing, and I would say to any member of the public, just to reiterate, Patrick, that if you're frustrated, this board made that decision. If you have an issue with it, come to this board. If you have an issue with it, you can also go to the Board of Health, but this board ultimately made that decision after a long and thorough process. I'm individually happy to talk with anyone about it, explain it, answer questions, provide clarification. I know our town manager and our Director of Public Health is also available. But there's zero reason why we would treat our employees in town with that level of disrespect to the point that they are frightened. Unacceptable.
Yeah, I would echo. Please reach out. I mean, we're happy to talk to anybody in the town
Yeah.
as well. Okay, moving on to item 3, approval and signing of a signing bonus for the water and sewer operations manager.
So this request is similar to the request we had for the town accountant position. We did come to you and requested, after going out for recruitment and not attracting at that time a candidate with the experience that we were looking for, we were able to move forward with the signing bonus after this board approved our offering of it, and we were able to attract someone who has great experience in that area. We currently have 13 positions across the town that are open. So I say that because I don't want anyone to feel like we're going to be asking for this every time we have a position open. But our water and sewer operations manager is leaving, and that position requires a very specific license for the operation of a water distribution and also wastewater. And that licensure is extremely important. I don't know if anyone remembers the last time that position was vacant, but we actually did have to contract with a vendor so that we could meet all the requirements and as well that position was vacant. So that might also continue to be something, but we would like to make this recruitment move along a little more quickly. And so we think that this signing bonus that we can pay for within the current budget might help us with that opportunity.
Is this signing bonus coming out of water sewer retained earnings? Or
No,
budget,
it would come out of the budget,
the general operating budget?
the water sewer operating
Right,
budget.
okay.
There's a
Right, so it's coming out of fees,
It-
not, it's not coming out of the tax levy portion of the budget. It'd be coming out of,
Yeah, so most of the positions at the DPW are paid for with a percentage from different funds. So I can't, I don't want to say
so this would follow,
unequivocally.
this would follow that mix.
It would
though.
follow exactly
Okay.
that mix.
And since
Yeah.
it's water division and sewer division, they're in the mix.
That's my understanding, yes.
That's good.
Yes, but it wouldn't require any additional appropriation.
I think this makes total sense, and
Yep.
happy that you brought it forward. And this is a really important position.
And I appreciate that this, although it's a signing bonus, is not all delivered initially and has to be earned by staying over time, requires the person stay in the position for a year before they earn the entire amount. Like there's, still protections put in for the town here. So, I am in favor of this. Supportive.
I would move to authorize the town manager to offer a signing bonus for the water and sewer operations manager position up to $4,000.
Second.
Just a quick clarification, Sean, on your comment. If I'm reading the notes here correctly, it says that they will be eligible for the second half of the payment at the 6-month mark.
That's
But there's a clawback,
There's a
Clawback if they
within a
stay
year.
less than 1 year.
Yeah,
so
right.
that we do
So-
get money back if it's less than a year.
If they, right, but they will get that money initially.
Yep.
They will get it paid after 6 months, but if they leave between 6 months and a year, we claw back.
They can claw back, exactly. Okay. So I heard a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And with that, I think
I will
we've
make a
finished.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, all set. Thank you very much. Nice short meeting. My average is.
Thank you, Westborough.